you guys. Hi. Welcome to 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. I am with Lexi Buhr. Is that how I say your last name? Buhr?
Boer, like
Buhr.
B-O-R. Boer.
Buhr. I'm really bad with that, Lexi. I can't tell you how many times I butcher people's names. I think it's all the payback for everybody who calls me Chandra. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Macy. Good morning, Carla, May, Kim. How are you guys? Ladies, where are the men this morning? So I think today's going to be a really fun, good morning, Alex and Jody and Allie. This is going to be a really fun and I think eye-opening coffee with Shanda. And Lexi, if you're at all nervous, don't be. This is just a conversation. We're just going to have some fun. But the reason why I asked you to be on Coffee with Shanda is a couple different reasons. I think that you are a role model for people and that, you know, the way that you are working your way through life after being diagnosed with cancer. And I think you said you were diagnosed twice, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it started with ovarian about 3 years ago.
Started with ovarian cancer. And I think that's most women's biggest nightmare. Do you know what I mean? It's most women's biggest nightmare. And,
Yeah,
you know,
I had, like, when I was like 20, I had a scare where it was like, I had cancer and then they got rid of it right away. And so I had always gone yearly to check forever, and I went the year before, nothing. The next year, I was already stage 4 in 1 year. So please make your yearly appointments because you have no clue how fast this disease can work.
do you think maybe they might have missed it or really truly there was nothing in your body? And
I'm not sure because, they always send the little postcard and, everything's clear, just like always. And the next year it was, I'm not sure how it went to stage 4 that fast.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, let's start at the beginning and share with people your journey a little bit. So at 20 years old, you had a scare. You did have cancer, and they cleared it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, how old are you now?
I'm 46.
You're 46. Yeah, you're so young. And take us through that moment because I think it's amazing that you're like on Coffee with Shanda every morning. You won I don't know if you and Carla connected, but you won a consultation with my stylist. And I would actually like to gift you more, which I'm going to talk about at the end of this interview. But I was thinking about you this morning and I was inspired. But explain to us, like, what was that like when you found out that you had stage 4 cancer and what went through your mind?
I was in total shock and disbelief. I remember my oncologist, she's a female, and her coming in and, because you get the results and they like, oh, we need to schedule an appointment for you to come in. And you're just automatically, something's not right.
Right.
And so I remember sitting there and she said, well, we're going to get through this, but this is the prognosis. It's stage 4, it's ovarian. It hasn't like gone anywhere else yet that we can tell, but we need to go in and take care of this. So, anyway, she thought that I didn't need to have, full blown like hysterectomy. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. And I did chemo and radiation for seemed like forever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and I didn't even lose my hair that time. This is a wig, but this is my hair. But anyway, so she told me that it was stage 4, but it was I could fight it. And I fought it with everything I had in me. And then, they kept testing all the time, my blood, my cells, doing the PET scans, making sure that it was going away. And it appeared to have gone into remission. But it really didn't. It just masked itself and traveled to another location. So now then I went into remission last August and then, or I'm sorry. I went into remission before that, and then in August is when I went back in, and they said it's stage 4, but this time it's in your right kidney and your liver, so we need to do surgery. And then, with all that said, in 2 months of treatment, that they gave me a 3 to 5% chance to survive, and
the 3 to 5 chance to survive through the surgery, right? Because you opted not to do that.
Right. With having the surgery done with the kidney and liver and part of the liver, and then having 2 months of treatment in the hospital, then it would still be 3 to 5%. So I said, let me have some time to think about it. And I did. And I didn't tell anybody because I knew it needed to be my decision. I couldn't be, influenced by anybody, because then, you have that chance of blaming somebody, or, you told me to do this, or no, it had to be mine. And I did a lot of praying, a lot of soul searching, and I decided not to go that way. I decided to live my life out the rest, the time that I had, and live it to the best of my ability, and live it for people, live it for others, not for me, because, everybody has a story. But I haven't always been, who I am today. I'll just say that. And through trials and tribulations, I've been humbled. I believe that God has brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
And now I can see what life is, and that it's time to serve. And I'm more than ready. When I first talked to you on chat or on coffee, I asked you about starting a nonprofit. I have no clue how to do that. I'm ready to go. And even if I don't get to start the nonprofit, if I can plant the seed with somebody, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. It's important to help others.
And what would you do the nonprofit on?
I just have this grand plan. It's actually kind of morphing into more of the trafficking, the sex trafficking, abused women, domestic abuse, rape, incest, molestation, which I've experienced.
So it's connected with you, like you've experienced stuff like that, and so you want to stop it.
And it is, I literally let, my father molested me when I was young, and then I was raised at 12. I let that destroy my life or control my life until I was 38. And finally, I remember my ex-husband, of all people, he said, do you understand that your past still holds you and it controls you? And we're not religious, but spiritual. And he said, let God have your heart instead of Satan. Satan has control over you. And I was just like, it was so clear right at that moment. But 5 years before that, maybe it wouldn't have been clear, but it was. And so from that time on, then I started to, make my journey to forgiveness. That's the biggest. And I'm here to tell you that, I feel like I had the most hate possible in the world for people, because I was just, God, I was a victim. Oh, Lord have mercy. I played that to the hilt, I can't do this because, oh my gosh, I was raped, but no, whatever, get over it. It happened, and you're stronger than that. And there's so many people out there. No, I'm not that strong. I'm not as strong as you. Yes, you are. Dig down deep. Ask God, ask your creator to help you come into your life and help you and lead you the way that you're supposed to go. It can be done. I literally was on my bedroom floor upstairs in this house last year, ready to commit suicide. I had the pills all out, had the letters written to the kids and my husband, mom, and a friend I hadn't talked to for a couple months texted me out of the blue. And she's like, I don't know what's going on with you right now, but I need you to listen to this song. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I just put the phone down. She's like, I know you're not listening to me. Listen to it now. She knew me.
Thank God for good friends that actually look up and help you versus are too busy.
It's so crazy. The Holy Spirit was like touching her, like, do this now, And so, sorry, I have like notifications coming down.
That's okay.
Danny Goki, he's a Christian singer, phenomenal. Been through a lot of trials and tribulations himself, and then he lost his wife. So anyway, the song was "Tell Your Heart to Beat Again." And if you guys can Google that, I mean, Danny Goki.
Tell Your Heart to Beat Again, and who is the singer?
Danny Goki, Gokey.
After Coffee with Shanda, can you go on the chat and pop it in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It stopped me dead in my tracks. And that's when I turned my life over to God. And he has been in charge ever since. And I'm going full force. There's no way I'm going to turn back. I'm not going to let myself get depressed. I mean, nobody can take me down at this point except for myself. And that's the danger.
I love that. So I have a question for you. I don't know like how your health is right now, because they did tell you that you had 3 to 6 months, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to be gone before March.
Yeah, and you're still here, thank God.
Yeah.
But if you would like to come to the Zone event, I would love to pay for your flight, your food, your hotel, all of that. And if you'd like to come, you are welcome to be my guest. If you need to bring a friend with you, I'm more than happy to pay for that friend as well, to come with you and to be your partner in being there. And magical things happen at the Zone event. Magical people are at the Zone event. My clients are extraordinary. I will connect you up with my clients at the event. I'll make sure that my team connects you up. And then I'll spend some time with you behind stage as well. So that would be my gift to you. So I would love to gift that to you. You can let me know if you'd like to come or not come, okay?
Brain to see how I could, so, you have the medical bills and then just regular bills on top of that. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, if I tell her that, cause you had mentioned it before, get there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, well, she's going to think I'm making excuses if I say, no, I have medical bills. No, really, I do.
Yes.
No more excuses.
No more excuses. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to show up and do it. So, and if you can't come, I understand that, but I would like to extend get rid of all walls and the opportunity for you to do that. So what is it like, with your children right now? Did you have one child or two children?
I have 3. I have a 22-year-old. Yeah, and he's 82nd Airborne. He's in the Army. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
Obviously proud of him. He's in North Carolina at Fort Bragg. And the story with the other 2, I mentioned that I had an ex-husband.
Yeah.
And this is like a whole day story in itself, but I'll say it in a couple sentences, and it's going to sound like I'm really cold, but I'll just ball my head up. Anyway, we were married 13 years. It was we should not have been, because we did not love each other. We stayed together for the kids. Anyway, it got so bad, so mentally abusive, physically, emotionally, every kind, that I was starting to plan my way to escape. I was I used to be independent. I used to be a law enforcement officer in California, in Solano County. And I used to be independent. All of that was wiped away. I let somebody take my power away. And anyway,
that's a powerful statement. I let it, versus you're a victim to it. You let it happen.
Yeah, I did.
I think that's important.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, things just progressively got bad really fast, and we got in a fight one night, and we were in our bedroom. The kids were asleep, and my son was in the Army, so he wasn't there. Anyway, proceeded to pull a gun out, put it in my mouth, and
Jesus.
He pulled the trigger, and obviously it didn't go off. It malfunctioned, whatever God was like there or whatever, I don't know. So anyway, then he just kind of fell back. I think he had a breakdown, and he started crying, and I'm like, okay, let's just get you in bed. Just, get him to sleep. And I don't have any clue why I didn't call the police right then.
Lexi, life has been riddled with the most craziest situations. Like, I can't believe that you're like still standing here saying that you really want to make a difference in the world. Like you could be someone who's just like in a poor me state, but you're like really trying to figure it out. Like
My life doing that, I God sent me here for a reason, for a purpose, and I know that everything's written in the book, and we all follow the path that we're meant to lead. And I was gonna waste this much time, but I wasted most of my life on not helping others and being so concerned and victimized, because of what I've been through. And I haven't helped anybody. Well, I mean, up until a certain point, and I can't do that anymore. So anyway, I ended up packing and during the night, and he was supposed to go to DC the next day. So I was like, oh, good. I'm going to get the kids from school and go to Iowa, go to my parents. And anyway, friend stopped. She asked what I was doing. She went home, called her husband. Her husband called mine. He was like half an hour out going towards DC from Raleigh, and came back and basically said that if I tried to take the kids, that he would kill me, the kids, and then himself.
Jesus.
And so, I mean, it was just a series of bad decisions, but I can't go back and change it. And that's where I struggle. Trying to forgive myself. It's like impossible.
Well, my friend Carla, who is my stylist, always talks about the fact of, she's said it to me a million times at different levels that I've wanted to, ascend to. She's always said, Shanda, it's forgiveness work. It's another level of forgiveness work. And so it's so interesting. Well, it's so interesting as you let go of the past. I can't remember the quote I read, but it was like, I can't remember the quote, but it's something that a friend of mine, Jesse, who wrote Living with a Seal, always says. He says, leaders live in the present moment. They don't live in the future. They don't live in the past. They live in the present moment. And they deal with what they're dealing with right now in the present moment. They don't worry about, I don't have enough time to go for a run. I don't have enough time to start this nonprofit. They don't think like that. They actually go, okay, what do I have available to me right now? And how do I make the most of it? You know what I mean? So
you put so much of life if you don't do that.
That's so true. What areas in your life right now are you giving? How are you giving back?
Well, let me finish the story quick.
We don't have too much longer, so that's why so quickly finish that part of the story.
I had to leave without the kids. And so we have 50-50 custody through the divorce, but he's never honored that. So I haven't seen the kids for like 5 years.
Oh my God.
They want nothing to do with me. So, because he's, has tainted them. So that's my biggest thing that I deal with, my roadblock, that is like holding me back, I think. But I'm not going to let it hold me back. I am going to go forward. But how do I help others? Well, since I'm like kind of, around home and not, actively out in the community so much, I do silly things like make cupcakes and cookies or go to the flower shop and buy like a dozen like flowers, and I'll like wrap singly and take it to somebody, drop it off. But see, the whole key is that they can't know it's you. It's not about you. You don't need to be thanked for that. It's to just see that smile. If you can hide and get from the door and hide quick enough so they don't catch you, which I've been caught before, but anyway, just to see them smile and know that touched their life. I have to touch somebody's life every day. I have to. If I'm like home and I'm in my world, I will make myself go to the store just so I can like write a note and leave it at the cashier's, thing. I don't care. I have to do it. It's my rule.
That's Craig, who wrote A Perfect Day Formula, talks about rules in your life and the importance of having rules. I have a rule that I don't speak business after dinner time, right? So you have a rule, you have to touch somebody's life. And I think it would be amazing if you touched people's lives that are watching us right now, that they made that a rule. That, I talk about generosity a lot, especially with my clients. I create contests in so many different avenues, and I see who shows up. And there's the giver that just gives, which is great, just when they can give and they feel good about that. And then there's the giver that gives and gets, recognition from everybody around them that they gave. And that's great too. And then there's this whole other level of generosity where nobody knows it was you.
The silent giver.
Difference. And that is a level of selfless giving. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Super powerful.
Yeah, and people, if they could just hone in on that right there, that if they selflessly, like honestly, selflessly give, they will find true joy. And that's the key for life.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So any last words for anyone that words of advice as you're facing what you're facing, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I think it would be miraculous if somebody helped with your pain or anything that you're going through right now that sees you on Coffee with Shanda. But like, you know, I remember asking you just the other day, how do you feel? And you said it used to be good days mixed with bad days. Now it's a bad week mixed with a good day.
Yeah.
Right? And so,
but you know,
I think it's important to put it into perspective because you look beautiful sitting right here and you're dressed pretty and you know what I mean? And so it's like, but the camera's going to go off and you're going to go into your life. And so, you know, there's people hopefully that are going to touch your life from this moment on Coffee with Shanda, and you're touching their life and you're waking them up right now to say that this could happen to any single one of us, right? Like anybody can have this happen. I'm doing thermography.
Out and get by a car, you know?
Yeah, totally. Well, Ash and I are doing thermography on Friday, and then we're going back in 3 months to do thermography again to, you know, make sure that our bodies are free of cancer, right? And just being cautious about that. So, you know, I do believe that it's important to take a look and make sure that you're staying on top of your annuals. I mean, my great friend Colleen had breast cancer years ago, and you know, and she always says when I'm like, I don't know about mammograms, which I still don't know about mammograms, but she's like, go, it saved my life, right? So that's why I've chosen thermography right now instead of mammogram. But
yeah, I would have known about that, you know, before.
Yeah.
I definitely would have done it.
Well, yeah, and it's easy to say that in hearsay because, you know, you're sitting where you're sitting right now, but I think how many of us go, I know I should go to the doctor, I know I should, and then you have the mistrust with the doctors now because of all of the guessing and the misdiagnosing and all of that type of stuff, that I really think your health is I think you're responsible for taking your health into your own hands now. And I think just positive thinking is not the entire scope. I think it's a huge portion of it. Probably a good reason why you're still living is that you are giving. You know what I mean? And you're out there like making a difference and you're wanting to make a bigger difference and your soul's calling you forward to make a bigger difference. But I think, you know, there's a reason why God gave us doctors and you got to find good doctors. And there's a reason why, you know, God has given us all this also holistic doctors and functional medicine doctors. And, you know, I think there's a place for all of them. There's a place for surgery and there's a place for total holistic, you know, and depending on how diligent you've been with your life and your self-care. So if you were to give any last words, anything you've learned about life up until now that you really want to say you want to imprint on our minds, knowing what you know as you're facing death?
I guess I would say that just from a really like broad spectrum look towards life, you know, we came from God and we had no recollection of him. We had to find him again. And find him, and then we become a changed person, and then our job is then to share him with others and help others for the rest of your life, and then you go back to him. Life is such a just a flash in the pan, and you know, we think, oh my gosh, this day is going to go on forever, you know. No, think about, you know, how, you know, when your kids were small and everything, you know, just think back. Live now. Don't live about what happened yesterday, and don't live about what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's beautiful. As I could hear my son playing in the other room right now with his dad. And I think about that. Look, he's already like tall. In my head, he's tall. I look at him. I look at him or his friend Grayson when I drop them off at school, and I'm like, whoa, they're 2.5, and that doesn't seem old, but they're tall, you know. And yeah. This morning he woke up early and he's like, Mama, and he just wanted me. And I'm like, no, go to your dad. I'm going to go hang out with Lexi and Coffee with Shanda. And She's like, no, mama, and won't let anybody else touch him, right? And I think, gosh, his legs are dangling down on me now, and his arms are big and wrapped around my shoulders, and it's like it does. They grow super fast. Well, I adore and appreciate your willingness to put yourself out there and be on Coffee with Shanda. I am so thrilled that you are like tuning into us on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. I just love that. I hope Coffee with Shanda has been helpful for you. Has it?
It has virtually like put me into like, fast forward, and it has been a big part of changing my life. Literally.
How so? Literally. I'm just curious because
you're so strong, and I have some of those qualities. I just don't know how to utilize them yet. But I identify with you.
No, I love that. Well, I love that I get to be a light in your life.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really
that and Nadia, I love Nadia. She's amazing.
Yes, Nadia is an angel, everybody. Nadia is my executive assistant. All right, you guys, we're going to end on that with Coffee with Shanda. So give generously. Possibly make a rule in your life that every day that you find a way to either buy the coffee for the person behind you or stop and look at somebody in the eye intimately and tell them that they look beautiful or that God is with them or just whatever's on your heart, to be the type of leader that's not afraid to say what's on your heart to people in front of you so that you can make a difference, because you don't know who you're making a difference for or how, or whether or not you're playing the song that changed Lexi's life from not taking her life and actually still being with us today. So listen to those nudges and those cues from God. Please don't be too busy on your own path to create your own harvests in life, or dealing with your own situations in your relationships. Like, I really do believe that things get better when you look up and you help, and the more people you help, the more that starts to swirl in your life and support you. So I'm a big advocate. It is addictive. It is so addictive. Being kind and generous is so addictive. And it's like anything. Joel Osteen was saying the day before yesterday, he was saying, be careful you don't feed your mind with negative thoughts. And he was said, every time you feed your mind about your spouse or about yourself or about anything in your mind about a negative thought, you are actually feeding your mind to destroy yourself. And that it is so critical for you to course correct those thoughts and to align your thoughts onto something that is absolutely opposite of what you're thinking. So my husband is driving me crazy right now. Instead of that, it might be my husband is doing the best he can, and I love this soul. God made him. Do you know what I mean? And really flipping your feeding of your mind around so that you're lighting your life up, you're lighting your insides up, versus having these dialogues and being righteous about them, because they will kill you. They will take you down. They will cost you your life, and they will cost you your security. And so it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sermon. I actually called one of my clients who was going through a hard moment and left her this message about, I know it feels hard right now, but somebody else's hard, yours seems easy. Do you know what I mean? And that, listen to what Joel Osteen said. And it's one thing to lead a horse to water, but it's another thing for that horse to drink. And I suggest that we all drink around this conversation. All right, you guys. Lexi, if you want to go back on the Hardcore Business Facebook page and just make some comments with people on the thread, that would be amazing. And then everybody else, God bless you. Have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow morning on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. Bye.